Welcome to History A377, Historiography, the Uses and Abuses of History. In this first slide, there is an image of a library card catalog drawer, and this is how we used to find books and information at libraries. We'll see how things have changed in terms of the age of information literacy. Welcome to this class. I look forward to spending time exploring the many ways and byways of history with you all. The subtitle of this course on the uses and abuses of history comes from a very short work by Friedrich Nietzsche, translated as On the Use and Abuse of History for Life, or sometimes translated as On the Advantages and Disadvantages of History for Life, written in 1874. And you can download a copy and read his work on your computer if you would like. First things first. First of all, read the syllabus and read it very carefully. It is your roadmap to this course. There's a ton of information on the syllabus, and it will help guide you in terms of what the expectations are for this class. And at the end of the syllabus, there is also some very useful tips and information, not just for this class, but for any class in terms of plagiarism, in terms of how to get help for your courses, particularly technological help, also what to do if other challenges come your way, and also a quick online courses right for you, questionnaire to think about, and a short 3-point how to succeed in online courses. So keep in mind there's lots of material in the syllabus, and read it over and refer to it often. Also, check out the weekly folders that are your classroom for this online course. It is essential to check the weekly folders early in the week and continue to work in your classroom or the weekly folder as the week progresses. And we will be talking about what is due each week in the weekly folder. But if you look for this classroom, you'll see that there is the weekly folders tab, and to explore what that looks like. And for the first week, you'll need to go under the weekly folder for week 1 and do the assignments for that. There are quite a few discussions. There's 5 discussions. There's also voice threads. Let's see. There's 4 class discussions. There's going to be a discussion on other projects. There's going to be 5 quizzes that are possibly discussions. Lots of discussion. This class is built around discussions. So make sure, because this is an online class that's trying to engage students and to think and respond to each other, you go to the weekly folder early, maybe by Monday, hopefully, and that you return back to the weekly folders to continue this conversation. I think it's really important for an online course to have a lot of engagement, for people to be heard. And so I build a lot of discussions into this. And you can see that in terms of your specific assignments. So 4 class discussions, 5 quizzes, then there's presentations on projects. And so your voice will be heard or read. It's important then to embrace this course, embrace history in terms of your engagement in it. You want to be going to the weekly folders and reading the assigned readings and discussing your ideas. So read, research, and be engaged. Well, with that in mind, you will want to go to the first week's folder, and you will see under week 1, there are introductions to be done and various items to be read. So check out the Blackboard site for this course and just give it a test drive, see what it looks like, and then do the posted readings for this week. And also get a start on Arnold's history, his very short introduction to history. I find it a delightful read, and I hope you do too. Then do the required assignments after you've looked at all the various cool things on the Blackboard side and you've done some of the readings, and then do your voice thread introductions and the course prep quiz, and then you are course ready or ready to go. I do like VoiceThread, and if you are not familiar with VoiceThread, there is a tab on Blackboard that helps you become more familiar with it. Looking towards week 2. Week 2, again, you can see this under the weekly folders, is going to consist of a short, and I like to keep them short, 15-minute lecture on historical consciousness, and there will be a quiz based on Arnold's short work, and that first quiz will be another VoiceThread, so try to get you well versed on how to use VoiceThread. So that's what we'll be doing week 2, and kind of get you thinking about what you should consider as important questions to guide your reading for week 2. Here are some sort of broad questions that have questions within them for the Arnold History of Very Short Introduction reading. So first question is, what does Arnold mean by escaping Thucydides' tower? What is the tower? Why do we need to escape? How do we escape? Second, throughout his short book, Arnold shifts his emphasis on the words true and story for his repeatedly used phrase of true story. What are his meanings and his intent? Do you agree with Arnold? Why or why not? Third, what does Arnold mean when he states, practically all historians writing today are Marxists, with a small m? How has Marxist thought influenced historiography? What are other important influences for the discipline of history in the 20th and 21st century, and how have these influences shaped historical theory? And fourth, name 2 individuals who you consider to be great men or women in history, and briefly explain their significance. Name 2 great events in history and briefly explain their significance. What do these choices tell us about your views of history? So we will be using these questions for week 2, so when you read Arnold, you might want to think about these big questions. And ultimately, this course is about thinking historically, how to think like a historian. And the American Historical Association's Perspectives in January 2007 had a short blurb on what does it mean to think historically, and I have referred to it here, and it's called the 5 C's of Historical Thinking, and I've added one by me. You might come up with more C's also, but the people that wrote the 5 C's of Historical Thinking, Thomas Andrews and Flannery Burke, really sort of laid out what the major themes of historiography and history are. First and foremost is the question of change versus continuity. This is the central question of historians of history. How much changes, how much remains the same? Essentially the difference that time makes. How much changes, how much doesn't, will be a question we'll be exploring throughout this semester. Secondly, context. Context is essentially everything. You need this framework that makes sense of a story. Without context, you have no structure. So context is key in understanding the significance, the meaning of what is going on. Causality is a key idea for historians, the idea that multiple factors lead to multiple readings and interpretations. Causality means that there's no inevitability, there's no given thing that will happen, because there's more than one ball up in the air being juggled. There's not just one factor, which leads to contingency, that every historical outcome depends upon a number of prior conditions. That choices are made, there is again no inevitability, and that people make choices that lead to various outcomes, and we are never sure what those outcomes might be and what their significance will be also. Complexity, we are complex. History is complex. And to really sort of think about the meaning of history and to think about humans as historical beings demands analysis. History is much more than reenactments, which can be very fun, and memorization, which sometimes is not so fun. It's about thinking about what it means, what its significance is. Why is this important? And because of this demand on us to think about history, its meaning, its importance, then the final C is to contemplate, to think about the past and its meaning. The past is a fascinating place that I hope we will all journey there together in this course. So these C's describe shared foundations of history as a discipline and are useful tools to formulate and support arguments and aid us in understanding historical processes. And these C's will help us then to be better historians throughout this semester. Welcome to the semester. I look forward to meeting you through the student introductions and also through your course prep quiz. And let me know if there's any questions. And we'll be talking about your ideas in week 2. Until then, bye.